with care, but in the capital budget there was nothing to spare. The cabinet were nestled all snug in their benches, surrounding the premier dug deep in the trenches. And Leonard in his kerchief and Lifford in his cap soon knew without doubt they'd be wiped off the map. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, the whole Tory caucus jumped up to get at her. Away to the window Allward flew like a flash, hoping his members weren't involved in a clash. The moon on the breast of the fresh fallen snow showed police lights were flashing at the scene of a tow. Jake Stewart was fuming, his features enraged. If he didn't calm down, he would likely be caged. The premier believed a diversion would be nice, so he summoned his caucus to seek their advice. Slower than cold molasses, his caucus they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Hugh John, now Ryan, now Muddy Claude and Blaine. On Carl, on Brian, on Trevor and Wayne. This is just one more problem, if things weren't bad enough. The electorate's angry and the waters are rough. We've missed all our targets and the deficit's growing. We've clawed back on pensions and our workers are going. We need a distraction to buy us some time. Let's run a few ads on the taxpayer's dime. We'll tell people it's better, a corner we've turned. It'll take them some time to figure out they've been burned. If the numbers keep dropping, we'll launch a new ad, telling the people that it's really quite bad. We'll show shots of airports as workers head west. We'll beg for forgiveness and say we're doing our best. Let them think fracking will bring them all back. If they point out the flaws, we'll go on the attack. We failed on the job front, dropped the ball on the eye. The coffers are empty and the well's running dry. We hoped Invest New Brunswick would bring celebrations, but the best it could give us, animal mutations. We couldn't come up with a forestry plan, and we closed parks and ferries on Old Grand Manan. As compensation from Harper, we have little to show for the cost overruns of our own Point Lepreau. Our bridges are shaky, our roads even worse. We've taken this province full speed in reverse. We've raised all the taxes and increased all the fees, and we let caucus members do whatever they please. They can drive with the red nose, they can threaten the cops. When a brother's been charged, they pull out all the stops. We've broken more promises by far than we've kept. My word is my contract, I keep it, except I didn't balance the books like I said I would do, so that's my excuse why my word isn't true. The commitments I've made may seem somewhat elastic, but in my defense, they were enthusiastic. The Minister of Health says that those you can break. The people won't know if they're real or fake. Oh, that Minister of Health, how wily is he? He's imposing a drug plan, but won't give the fee. In 2015, we'll all get the sad news, and every taxpayer will be singing the blues. They'll pay for drug coverage if they use it or not, and business will chip in to cover the pot. In rural New Brunswick, the taxes will grow, and electricity rates will no longer be low. The future you'll see, thanks to our Tory rule, will get bleaker each day, and more people will fool. The debt will keep growing, the deficit too. The jobs in our province will be very few. We'll pin all our hopes on a one industry fix, run more ads, stretch the truth, and play many more tricks. And as we leave for this season, we'll say just for spite, happy fracking to all, and to all a good night.
Member from York North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, to echo the comments of the member opposite, I too would like to make a slightly longer statement and beg your humble forgiveness for the 24 or so points of order that may arise. Mr. Speaker, I also want to extend my deepest sympathies to the original author for my modifications. Mr. Speaker, 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Dominic hid by the chimney with glee, in hopes he could turn more grits NDP. Coon mused with Austin how next year they'd fare, their hearts quickly filled with fear and despair. 3 parties he's been with, 5 are now singing. Who would have Lamrock in 2014? In Charlotte County, he's known as Ricky, but here on the floor, he's considered most tricky. Penfield took at him like cops to a mobster. Now he's licking his wounds and peddling lobster. Mr. Collins hates schools with no hesitation. When not throwing punches condemns their location. Collins has a few problems, soon to be mute. When next nomination, Griggs give him the boot. A blast from the past, old Mayor Court decided to run now campaigns at the port. No tolls on their bridge saved you in. Which of the two would Ivan take away? More rapid than eagles, Gallant grabbed the reins, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Kinney, now Collins, now LeBlanc, our Stowe. On Landry, on Fraser, on Albert and Boudreau. The sleigh was not ready and moved clunky that night, as half wanted to slow down, the rest expedite. Gallant became angry with the transport he found. If this were McKenna, they'd be pawing the ground. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when bricks meet an obstacle, all blame they deny. 70 million, how Adcon laughed. Tozer got the money, taxpayers the shaft. Northeastern cameras were flashing with glee as Oxford's announcement made history. Tories rolled up the sleeves and worked as they ought. Denny's contribution, he posed for the shot. In Restigouche County, they know about snow. The longer the winter, the more piles grow. Yet in Dalhousie, there's nary a frown, for Don Arsenault has now moved out of town. The Chaleur Coalition worked well together, making beautiful music in all kinds of weather. Their next performance, not long from today, the retirement party of Mr. Hachet. 3 years with no rate hikes, a new point LeBron. All this in spite of, not because of Boudreau. Now there's a man we shall never forget. We're reminded each time we look at the debt. Liberals are fighting in Miramichi. John Foran, Bill Fraser, which will it be? On a visit to Arbeck, Bill had a dream. Put John on some chipboard and send him downstream. What's Gallant's position? There's always suspense. It's hard on one's bottom to sit on the fence. Chrétien and McKenna both offered advice. Brian paid no attention and slipped on the ice. Frank grabbed the reins and Gallant had no hope. Several times offered, he won't grab the rope. But I heard Frank exclaim ere he spoke of the type. Merry Christmas to all. We'd be stronger with Mike. Merry Christmas.
So that's what they do at the New Brunswick Legislature.